All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little San Francisco Giant video. That's right, we're talking Giants off-season. Free agents can sign at any point. We're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle. Go say hi to Damon and Mary. Tell them that Krug sent you. Get that brisket. The brisket chili is amazing. It's all good, but try the brisket. It's amazing. And the video brought to you by Mojo Fantasy. Check that link in the description. Make sure you use the promo code Krug and get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. Everybody who does automatically is entered into a drawing to win a Brock Purdy or a Nick Bosa jersey on Thanksgiving night. All right, let's talk about the Giants. Excuse me. Um, I retweeted a Bleacher Report report earlier tonight. And the report, it was from Jim Bowden, the former general manager, now writes for The Athletic. I really like Jim Bowden. Jim Bowden's really good. He's one of the guys that I really like reading in baseball. Why? Because he's got sources. He's tapped in. Anyway, Bowden is reporting that the Giants, the Cubs, and the Mariners are the likely destinations for the polar bear, Pete Alonso, if the Mets decide to trade Alonso. Now, this is interesting and this is exciting. Alonso is exactly what the Giants need. I mean, if you really think about it on the field, now they could use other pitching, of course, but as far as a fielder, as far as a foundation piece, what do the Giants need? They're freaking boring. They're the most boring team in all of baseball. They need somebody with some color. They need somebody with some life. They need somebody with some, reason to buy a ticket. I mean, they're really a boring team. Now, if you could get Juan Soto, go do it. But I mean, look at some of the one thing about the offseason in baseball, the money's so big and it takes a lot to make trades that you're giving up a lot usually either financially or prospect wise to get that key player. But the Giants have to make something happen. I mean, they fell to 17th in attendance. I heard John Shea say this morning, Farhan's under the gun. I mean, he's got to turn this thing around and get butts in the seats ASAP, or he's gone. I mean, it's as simple as that. We can talk about he's smart, he's this, and he's that. Bottom line is, if they don't win games and get more competitive and have increased attendance, his butt is done. So, yeah, he got an extension with Melvin, but he's under the gun. And he's got to not just produce a team, he's got to produce a team that's not freaking boring and a team that actually somebody wants to pay the kind of ticket prices that they charge to go see. So a lot of talk is, hey, they're going to trade for Mike Trout. Okay, that's fine. I love Mike Trout. Are you kidding me? Mike Trout, one of the greatest players of this era, maybe the greatest player of this era. But he's been banged up a lot. He's older, right? I mean, how old is Trout? Let's look it up, actually. But, Trout's a little bit older, but he's had injuries and he missed a lot of time. And he's already making a grip of cash. He's 32, so he's not old, but he's coming off a year where he had 263, 18 homers, 44 RBIs. He only played half the year. He played 82 games, 308 at bats on the year. Now, Trout has got a great history of staying healthy for the most part from 2012 through 2019. This is how many games he played: 139, 157, 157, 159, 159, 114 in 2017, 140 in 2018, 134 in 2019. Okay, so from 2012 through 2019, he was healthy. The guy played all the time, played every day. Since 2019, or really, he hasn't. I mean, obviously, 2020 was the shortened year, so he played a full year there. But 36 games in 2021, 119 games in 2022, and half the games in 2023. And you're looking at a guy who used to steal 25 bags, 30 bags, stole as many as 49. He's got what, 6 stolen bases in the last 4 seasons combined. So he's no longer the runner that he was. He doesn't run as much. We've seen his averages go from, he's hitting 326, 323, 299, 315, 306, 312. That's what he did 6, 7 years ago. Now, 263 this last year, his lowest average ever, I believe, since his rookie year, going back to 2011. He still had a 367 on base. He's still a great player. But I mean, and I would take him, don't get me wrong. I like Mike Trout. I'm not saying Mike Trout's garbage. I'm just saying it's going to cost a lot, and you're getting a 32-year-old ball player who's almost assuredly played his best baseball already. Okay, so that's Mike Trout. Then there's the Shohei Otani free agent pursuit. And the talk was this morning, and I saw John Shea put this one out, that the Giants, John Shea says, Giants preparing for full court press on free agent superstar Shohei Otani. All right, it's going to cost, okay, first of all, Dodgers are probably going to get him. So now you're already kind of teasing your fans with another pursuit of the top guy that you're not going to land. But even if you land him, you're talking about $500-600 million. And how's that going to be any different than what he's doing in LA with the Angels? They're going to spend a ton of money on him. He's going to be a draw, and that's great. But you're not going to be able to do anything else because you're paying all your money to Otani. And you don't know if he can even pitch or how he's going to bounce back. He's not going to pitch at all in 2024. It just seems like a boatload of cash for Otani. And I know they need to move the needle badly, but man, that's high risk. All right, then you go to the next option. How about Cody Bellinger? Cody Bellinger just had a 300 year with the Cubs, but he had 2 years before that. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. He was just awful. So now you're going to give a guy, and they're saying 12-year deal. So he's 28. You're going to have to pay him on a 12-year contract through his 40th birthday. And he's had, in the last 3 years, he's had 1 good year and 2 bad years. And then he's also got shoulder problems. At some point, he had shoulder problems. Now, this year, obviously, he bounced back. But, that's a monumental risk, huge risk, giving, Cody Bellinger, who's had 1 good year in the last 3 or 4, a 12-year contract. For monster money, that's a massive risk. All right, well, how about what other options do you have? A lot of people are saying, how about Reese Hoskins? He went to Jesuit High School. He went to Sac State. He's a NorCal guy. Yeah, but he's still coming off a torn ACL. So you don't know what you're getting. You don't know exactly how he's going to bounce back. So my point is there's just a lot of risk with a lot of these guys. And with a guy like the polar bear, you're talking about a 28-year-old player who's healthy. Now, he did hit 217 this year, which is a pathetically low number, a low batting average, even in today's game. But if you look at some of his other numbers, he's got decent numbers across the board. It's not like he's not like this guy can't do anything. Guy had 21 doubles, he had 46 home runs, 118 RBIs. He does strike out way too much. There's no doubt about that. And his on base is only 318, so it's decent, but nothing spectacular. He walked 65 times. He drove in, as I said, 118. He doesn't steal bases. But Pete Alonso has got personality. He's a bit, when the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. This guy would be a phenomenal, they would sell 1 million Alonso jerseys. As I said, he's 28. He's healthy. He's got probably got most of his best years coming up. He came up in 2019. He hit 53 home runs. 2020, 16 home runs in the 57-game season. 2021, he hit 37. 2022, he hit 40, drove in 131. This last year, he hit 46, drove in 118. This is the guy that is going to make you go, wait a second, I want to go see Pete Alonso. I want to see if Pete Alonso can go hit the glove tonight. This is the guy who might be able to hit the ball into the bay as a right-handed hitter. So I just think that, if the Giants are going to load up on a trade, it's like the whole free agent market is very dubious, very difficult to handicap. I mean, if you can get Juan Soto in a trade, great. I would love Juan Soto. He's a phenomenal left-handed hitter, one of the best young hitters in the game. Um, but a guy like Alonso, who is just he's a behemoth character as far as you're talking about a 6'3", 250-pound first baseman. He's been an all-star. He's won a home run derby. This is the kind of guy that people would just be all over. Now, Soto or Alonso would be great. I'll just be totally frank about that. To me, when you look at the offseason for the Giants, they don't just want to add a player here or there. They want to add a difference maker. They don't just want to add a difference maker. They want to add somebody who's actually going to sell tickets. Well, there aren't that many players that sell tickets. I mean, Mike Trout would, but Mike Trout's also played his best ball. Cody Bellinger would, but man, it's a huge risk to sign a guy to a 12-year contract who's had one good year. Shohei Otani would be the ultimate get, right? But is he even going to pitch? You don't even know, and you're going to wind up paying him as a two-way, modern day Babe Ruth, and he may never pitch again. Who knows? He's not going to pitch at all this year. So there's just considerable financial risk with Shohei and with Reese Hoskins and with Cody Bellinger. So man, to me, it comes down to if you're going to make a big splash, go get Pete Alonso, go get Juan Soto. Those would be the two guys that would absolutely, I don't know that you can even make a bad trade for those guys. The Padres are looking to get rid of that money because they're just swimming in debt. The Mets are owned by a guy who's so rich that it's not about the money. But if they're willing to move Pete Alonso, man, load up. They want 3, 4 prospects, give it to them. You get Alonso, and suddenly you're a lot more interesting. You get Soto, and suddenly you're a lot more interesting. Those are the kinds of guys. They're the right age. They're healthy. They got some of their best baseball is ahead of them. Every one of these free agent contracts. If the Giants had a limitless budget, I'd say who cares? Go after Otani. Who cares if you pay him a ton? Go after Otani and Yamamoto. Go get Yamamoto on the mound and go get Otani and DH him. But man, when you're thinking about $500-600 million for a guy who's solely a DH and may never pitch, that's some serious greenbacks right there. And I just don't. If the Giants had a limitless budget, I'd say do it, but they don't. So the money actually does matter. You heard, Johnson's kids say that, hey, we want to break even. So the finances are very much a part of the Giants' reality, even though they're minting money and own their own ballpark. So you know what? You could get into that Correa contract would have screwed them. Almost all these free agent misses, for the most part, looking back on it, are not even that bad because each one of these contracts to free agents is just absurd. And to me, if you could get Soto in a trade, if you could get Alonso in a trade, that's the direction I'm going. You want to send a message to Giants fans that says, "Hey, we're going to be fun to watch." You know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but the bottom line is, did you build a team that, baseball is about the journey more than the destination. Not that it doesn't matter if you make the playoffs, it does, but it's a long season. And the team that you have on the field, the team that you root for, better be freaking entertaining. And the Giants not only have been just thoroughly mediocre, they've been a colossal bore. And every single one of their fans knows it. So guess what? You get Juan Soto, you get the polar bear. Now you got somebody in the middle of that lineup that other teams fear, that you want to buy tickets to see. It's like, yeah, the Giants lost 4-2 last night, but did you see the ball that the polar bear hit off the glove and left? Yeah, the Giants lost last night, but did you see the moon shot that Juan Soto hit into McCovey Cove? I'm just saying, I'm not saying don't try to win. I'm just saying you got to have some reason to go. Barry Bonds in the 90s was like the reason to go. And before that, there was Will Clark and Matt Williams. Before that, there was Jack Clark and Chili Davis. Before that, there was Willie McCovey in the 70s, Orlando Cepeda, Willie Mays in the 60s, Juan Marichal. The Giants have had a draw really ever since they've been on the West Coast. Right now, they have no draw. They don't have that one guy that makes you go, man, I'm not missing that. Juan Soto or the polar bear would be that guy. So Farhan, if you're watching, go get Juan Soto. Go get Pete Alonso. If you can, get them both. All right. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. Thanks to Mojo Fantasy. This video brought to you by Mojo Fantasy. Check that link in the description. Use that promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. Everybody who does automatically is entered into a drawing for a Purdy or a Bosa jersey, which we'll give away on Thanksgiving night. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.